Hello, friends, and welcome to Yoya's Finds. This is my little corner of the world where I, Yoya, find something to build and to talk about. And so for today, storytime alert, let me tell you that I was super excited when Lego announced the Game Boy Lego set. The moment that I got a chance, I went ahead and I pre ordered. A lot of anticipation afterwards. We are right here. So, this is story time, and let me tell you a little bit of piece of nostalgia that came across my mind while I was building this. And before I say anything else, yeah, that is the Lego Game Boy. Piece by tiny piece, I built it, and nostalgia ran right through me. Before we admire all the different features of this lifelike build, I need to take you back because this gray little brick isn't just a plastic nostalgia piece for me. No, it's definitely a core memory. I was about 13 years old when I got to play with my first handheld gaming device. Not my first gaming device overall. My sister and we got our first gaming device, which was the NES. I want to say it was between 1997 and 1999. And now you could just imagine we're like 7 years apart. At 1997, I was like 5 years old. So we were playing with an NES way after you probably did. We had that NES well until now. Right now it's in storage, but we played it all throughout my elementary, middle school, and high school times. Like I remember my sister and I fighting to make sure that all the cables stayed intact so that it wouldn't kick us out of our game. So, as you can imagine, when we got our first handheld device, it was amazing. This was like 2005. Our first handheld gaming device should have been a Game Boy Color, right? Or maybe by then it was already like the DS. It was not a shiny Game Boy Color. Everyone flexed at school. This is what I was playing with in 2005. This chunky legend. For the longest time, my sister and I only had two games. One of it was Metroid, and the other one was Wario Land? Wario? But, anyways, let me set the scene for you guys. It's a hot Saturday, Southern California. My family was visiting my aunt. We used to do this every Saturday almost. My sister and I had nothing to do. My aunt would have a lot of different stuff, just random stuff all over the place. Not only that, but like she worked for different people cleaning houses, and when they would get rid of stuff, they sometimes offered it to her. I feel like now that I think about it, my propensity to be a reseller kind of comes from that. But, anyways, I digress. We're at my aunt's house. No Wi Fi, no cable, really. She had dish, but soccer was always playing in the living room, and she only really had one TV. What do we do when we go visit my aunt? We just explore. Our whole childhood, we found random stuff, and then we would start playing it. Our first game of life was the old original game of life that my aunt had in a random closet somewhere that somebody gave her. This hot Saturday afternoon, my sister and I go exploring through her garage. This garage smelled like dust, old plastic, and just regrets of her keeping all of this stuff. My sister and I were so used to going through the garage and finding treasures. I think that's why I enjoy so much when I take my kids to storage and I buy a storage unit and they find like little treasures too. Then suddenly, there it was. It was at the bottom of a box, a gray rectangle with purple reddish buttons. It's like it respawned from the 80s. So we picked it up, we dusted off, and those magic letters were still there. Nintendo. You could still see it. It was still clear. It was not faded away. The only game that we found inside of the box was Metroid. At that age, I didn't even know what Metroid was. It could have been a robot, it could have been a disease, it could have been an alien burrito for all I know. And we just knew that at that point we had a cartridge and a Game Boy. But when we popped in some batteries and hit the power switch, and when that little ding played and the Nintendo logo faded down the screen, I swear I still remember the chills of exploration that came through both my sister and me. That moment was it. We were hooked. Okay, the original Game Boy was work. No black light, No color, just green pixels and prayers that you knew what you were doing. You had to stand under a perfect lamp, angled like you were summoning gaming spirits. Too bright, it washed out. Too dark, absolutely nothing. And don't even get me started on the batteries. That thing ate those AA batteries like it ate snacks on a bad day. Right in the middle of a boss fight, boom. Screen fades, game over. Not because you lost, but because just whatever batteries you had was like, nah, not today. Funny enough, even though we had those moments that we would get so irritated at that little brick, we didn't care. We played Metroid over and over because it was the only game that we had for a while. We would argue who would get to do what level because that's how we played. You played a level, I played a level. It wasn't about lives, it was just to see who got to do which level. In hindsight, I feel that it was unfair because sometimes I would get all the hard levels or she would get all the hard levels. That just goes to show you. It was just us and Samus. That crunchy 8-bit soundtrack too. Even though there are games nowadays that try to have that 8-bit music in it, it's still not the same as when you remember that nostalgic feeling of playing the game that you had in your Game Boy. It was the first time I got lost in a world I could not hold in my hands. It was like reading a book, and we would imagine all these fantasy images of those books. But with the Game Boy, we were now reliving different stories on the go. We had to make sure that we always had like a fresh bag, like big Ziploc gallon freezers of batteries, because on our road trips, we never knew when that thing was going to die. It was a world that, quite honestly, I didn't mind replaying over and over and over. And that's what sticks with you. Not the graphics, not the tech, but the feeling. So when I found out that Lego was building the original Game Boy, I knew I had to do it. It's literally my childhood in brick form. As I snap these pieces together, building it, every plate, every tile, every little detail, it brought me back to that garage floor, back to the pixelated Metroid chaos. It's officially complete. I have it on display. It is a piece of my childhood. This one I don't have to worry about the batteries. Pretty cool, huh? It hits me right in the nostalgia. Pure and simple. The same joy I felt holding the real thing for the first time. Amazing. The engineers that come up with these things are truly amazing. From the clicking of the on and off button to the bounciness of the A and B button and even the start and select button. The way that they constructed the D-pad is also amazing to me because you have that feel in it. Sometimes I don't even play my games with sound. So therefore, we remember hearing a lot of these button mashing sounds. From there, you have the volume button that you could actually roll up or down, the extension connector. You have the headphone jack. And over here, you have the contrast wheel as well. This was the power jack as well. For nostalgia purposes, you have Zelda and you have Super Mario Land. Over here, you could kind of come in and you could change the scene from Mario, a scene from Zelda, and then, of course, the iconic Nintendo dripping down from the top. So, whether you came for the Lego or for the story or just for the vibes, thank you for hanging out with me. I am so happy that I'm able to share this with you. I know that I'm not the only one that has memories this little brick gave them that last a lifetime. And now, just like I have those memories of the actual Game Boy, I have memories of this version too. It's truly amazing. But the build is done, the story is told, and the console of my childhood is back on the shelf. So, my friends, brick by brick, I will see you in the next one. Bye! See you later.